Hi guys, welcome to the first video I've ever made using this amazing lighting board for Certificate 2 dance. We're going to look at the bones. So you have a project that you need to complete looking at different bones that our human body uses, which are obviously super important for dance. I have my little cheat sheet here. This is the document that you will use to complete this task. So you've got a person front on and back. So on the board I've got my front person. He's a bit out of proportion, legs perhaps aren't quite long enough, but you can deal with that. And then I've got my back person who, again, I don't know, he's a bit dodged, but I freehand drew. What I need you to do for your assignment is to label your people with the correct bones in the correct places. So we'll start with our front person. The first bone that you need to be able to name is the cranium. The second is the mandible, which is your jaw. So your cranium is your scalp, your head, and your mandible is your jaw. And then your next one that you need to name on the front of the body is your clavicle. Now your clavicle is the bone in here that on really skinny people it sticks out. On me it doesn't, but it's on both sides, so you've got two clavicle bones. Perfect. From there I need you please to name your sternum. Now your sternum is the bone that runs down the front here. When you do first aid, they tell you to do compressions on the sternum. The sternum also connects some of your rib bones to your spine. So that's how, your rib cage, it all connects up together. Perfect. Your ribs are obviously then in this section here. I won't get you to draw them on, but your rib cage wraps around the front of you around here, and it protects all those really important organs like your lungs from getting damaged. Your radius, I'm going to move to the other side of the man. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to do your radius. I'm going to move to your humerus. Oh, this is one of my favorite bones. I need to check my spelling sometimes. Your humerus. I remember the humerus because it's attached from up in your shoulder down to your elbow, and when you knock your bone here, people say, oh, you've hurt your funny bone, and that's the easiest way to remember that your humerus is here. It's part of that because it's funny. Then we move into our lower part of our arm, and we're looking at our radius and our ulna. Now the best way to remember, there's two bones in your forearm here, two bones. Your radius is the one that's attached to your thumb. So in your diagram, you can see the thumb here. So the radius is the one that's going to be closer to the thumb. Oops. And your ulna is the bone that's more attached to your little finger. And an easy way to remember that is to quite simply hold out your arm, put your arm down by your side, and you can feel, if you feel both your arms and your body, you can feel that this bone stays quite still and your radius moves or radiates around your ulna. So that's how I've remembered that one. Good sheet. Then we move to your ilium. Now your ilium is the top part of your pelvis. So we pop that over here, and obviously again, same as radius and ulna, you do have two of them, one on each side, and your ilium, you have one on each hip bone. Perfect. Your sacrum is down the lower part of your spine here. Might actually save that for the back. And yes, right. Then we move into our hand bones. Firstly, wrists. So your wrist bones in here are your carpals. And there's more than one bone there, but in a group, they're all known as your carpals. In your hands, they are called your metacarpals. because they're slightly smaller than the bones that are in your wrist. And then in your fingertips, you have your phalanges. Obviously, you've got phalanges and carpals and metacarpals in both your hands. Right, then we move into our legs. This bone here, there's only one bone, heaviest bone in your body. It's called your femur, and it runs from the top of your hip all the way down to your knee. It's a big one. Then you've got your bone that sits on top of your kneecap, and when people dislocate their knee, that's the bone that shifts out of place. It is called your patella. It's a good one. Moves, fun to just jiggle it around a bit. Then, like in your arms, so your legs, remembering, are pretty much a replica of your arms, just on a bigger scale. So in your arms, you've got one bone from your shoulder to your elbow, and then two bones from your elbow to your wrist. So in your legs, you've got one bone from the hip to your knee, then you have two bones in your knee to your ankle. So in your legs, you have the smaller bone in behind, and that is called your fibula. And the big bone is your tibia. Then you move into your ankles, and we have your tarsals in your ankles, metatarsals in your foot, and then your toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, are called phalanges as well. Same type of bone in your toes as in your fingers. So that should be the front view of your person. So your piece of paper, they're all the bones that I need you please to name on your front view. Then move to your back view. And again, you can label the cranium because it's still the same as the front as it is the back. Then I need you to move to your scapula. So your scapula are also known as your shoulder blades. And they move around, and you can see them moving when you're standing behind someone in dance class. You can see whether they're engaging their back because of where their scapula are held. This is my back view. So then I'm going to move to my spine. Super duper important, guys. So the top part of your spine, we're starting right up here. Obviously your spine runs from the top of your head, like right back up in here, right down to your pelvis. So this top part of your spine is called your cervical spine. The middle section of your spine in here is your thoracic spine. Oops. And the lower part of your spine down here is your lumbar spine. That's the part of your spine you can really injure if you don't lift things properly. Your thoracic spine you can do great injury to if you're not warmed up enough because it's really flexible. And your cervical spine is where you can injure with quick, sharp head movements if you're not warmed up enough. Then we move to your sacrum. So again, still part of the spine, it's a continuation of the spine. Down here, whoops, that made a really loud noise. And then on the very tip of your spine, oops, I'm sorry, on the very tip of your, actually, I'm going to be annoying and I'm going to go back to my front man and I'm going to put the pubis in the front here. Because that's your pubic bone that really is in the front of your body, part of your pelvis. On your back man, I'd like you please to put in the pelvis. So that's a really, really large pelvic bone that wraps all the way around. The ilium that we've already put in here is the top part of that bone. Then we have, that's about it. Obviously you've got your femur again. From the back view, you could pop your your fibula and tibia on this one as well. That's pretty much it though, guys. That's what I need you to do, please, for your assessment for your bones. Thank you. I hope that was all right, made sense. I look forward to receiving your work. Bye.